Have you ever caught yourself staring at the charts thinking, I can't believe price moved without me? You know, that punch in the gut, that panic to jump in late? Well, that's FOMO, fear of missing out. If you've ever felt that, just one more trade itch? Well, buckle up, because this is part one of a special 4-part training series I've recorded for my private clients. These are traders who together have secured over $20 million in funding and withdrawn more than $2 million in profits. Now stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know the exact triggers behind FOMO and the foolproof solutions and strategies that my clients are using to absolutely crush it with prop firms. Let's dive in. Okay guys, let's get into it. There are 4 very common problems that traders face. As you can see, I've laid them out for you. It is fear of missing out, closing your trades early, revenge trading and overtrading, and not following the trading plan. I'm going to discuss the triggers and solutions for each one, because there are so many ways that fear, greed, hesitation, all of this manifests. And there are other videos that I'm going to go into potential root causes, but in this particular video I'm just going to go straight in with the source. What are the triggers? What are the solutions? And these have been taken from the data that I've gathered from my students these past few years. So these solutions are working, and I'm going to provide you with multiple solutions. There's more than one solution for each of these problems. And so there's no right or wrong. You can try some of these, one of these, but I can guarantee you that one of these is going to work for you. So let's begin with FOMO, okay? Fear of missing out. So what are the triggers? When it comes to the triggers, you want to see them almost as something that triggers a threat, something that triggers you into the fear of missing out on a move or the fear of missing out on profit. So these are the most common that I've found with my clients, and it is desperation. Desperation for the profits, desperation to be in the move. Some traders feel anxiety that they're not in the move, that they're missing out on something. And anxiety can be both psychological but also physical. You can actually feel anxiety. For me personally, I feel it. There's a tightness in my chest, my heart rate goes up, I have shortness of breath, I get sweaty hands, sweaty feet, sweaty armpits, and that's when I know I'm definitely experiencing some level of threat. Some of you experience impatience, and this impatience can come from different things. And I'll give you an example. I have a client who really struggled with their impatience, and it was because the root cause of it was they were spoiled. They had everything they needed in life. They were never hungry. They always had clothes on their back. They always lived in a nice area. They went to private schooling. They got top grades. And so everything was just laid out for them. And what ended up happening is they developed this entitlement syndrome. You know, it's like they expect things here and now. And they don't like delayed gratification. They wanted everything at a tap of a click. You know, everything is so easy these days, right? You can Uber anything these days. You can Google whatever. You can chat GBT anything, right? Everything's done so quickly. And so when it comes to trading, it's so easy to want it now. It's so easy to want the trade to play out now. It's so easy to want to be in the move now. And so impatience is a real thing. And I'm going to dive deep into some of the solutions that we worked with this trader, because he ended up making over $30,000 in the last 6 months alone. just with prop firm withdrawals. That's insane, right? Frustration. So frustration is very common. It is one of those emotions that usually happen after you see something, after you see the move go without you. And so it's impatience, frustration, it's all kind of linked, as you can see. Passing a challenge, you know, when you're coming, I speak to so many traders, and when you're close to hitting that target and you're about to pass the challenge, or you're about to hit the level where you are able to reach a payout, the payout threshold, you get this FOMO, you get this rush that you can't miss the next trade, you can't miss the next move. And so there's this, it triggers FOMO, yeah? And for some traders, it's after taking a few losses, it triggers this feeling of, I need to win, I need to make this back, I can't miss this next trade. And so taking losses, missing trades, taking invalid setups, you know, you feel like, oh man, I made a mistake, this trade wasn't valid, this setup was weak. I should have waited for the draw of liquidity to be taken out. I should have waited for the Asia sweep, the London sweep. You get what I'm saying, right? And so you want to make up for it. You don't like finishing the day making mistakes. So you want to rectify this, and then so it can trigger FOMO. Rushing. You know, so many of us are busy, right? We have family, we have job, we have a business, we need to go to the gym, we got meal prep, we got 7-8 hours sleep every night. There's so much going on. And so we're constantly rushing. And so when we sit at our desk and we're at our trading station, we're still rushing. And I see this as a very common issue in traders. And having also a bias towards the outcome, you know, having the outcome as the main objective, this is a big problem for traders. And in another video, I'll go into the outcome bias in a lot more detail. Yet these are the sort of things that trigger FOMO. Now, what solutions are there? And bear in mind, guys, these solutions have been, we've tried and tested them, and they work. So they are as follows. I'll zoom in. So these are the solutions to FOMO, okay? You got to have a solid pre-session process. This pre-session process is fundamental. It has to be data-driven. It has to have an edge. And by doing so, you can avoid the triggers of FOMO, the ones that I've mentioned above. And visualizing and meditating on a consistent basis, this allows you to really understand what your A+ setup looks like, what good trading looks like, what walking away feels like, and being calm and composed. You got to visualize this, and practicing meditation will also allow you to focus on one thing. It allows you to focus on the breath. It allows you to be present. It allows you to be self-aware of these thoughts and feelings that could trigger FOMO. So remember all these triggers? Visualization and meditation help you be aware of these, right? You might experience the impatience, the rush, but it doesn't mean that you need to actually FOMO into a position. You may experience and feel FOMO, but you need to have the self-awareness and the discipline to just walk away. That's why deep breathing and going out and actually walking, these are the sorts of things that will help a trader. Box breathing, right? Box breathing is so powerful. And my favorite is a 4 to 6 second hold and a 4 to 6 second breath in or breath out. I find this the most effective for me personally and for trading. And you can do this in as little as 30 seconds to actually reduce stress, reduce the anxiety, and really center you back into the process that you should be following. You should be avoiding social media and trading signals. Trading is a performance that requires independent decision making. You need to come up with your own decision that is data driven. It's based on your back tested results. Make a decision on a trade and stick to it. If you need to check someone else, maybe a coach, a mentor, or a peer, then do so once you've already made a decision. Okay? It's important to make independent decisions in your trading. And that way you can, that way you're not relying on anybody else, and you won't be phased when they're in the trade and you're not, because you know that you can trust yourself to make independent decisions. So avoid social media, avoid taking signals, and develop the me versus me mindset. My good friend Dan Chong really dives deep into this, and it's so true because it is literally the cure for so many problems in trading, like FOMO. Because if you just challenge yourself to compete with yourself, compete against your own daily habits, your own daily scorecard, your own P&L, and look to improve just a little bit every single day, every single week, every single month, every single quarter. Just look to be better than you. What ends up happening is that you stop trying to be like anyone else. You stop trying to compete with anyone else. And you're so focused on self-improving that you don't feel like you're missing out on anything because you're too busy leveling up. Yeah? You're too busy obsessed with the process. This me versus me mindset is powerful, guys. So shout out to Dan Chong. Remove outcome-based goals. I know you want to pass the challenge. I know you want to get to withdrawal. I know you want to quit your job. But you need to get this out of your head when you're trading. You can't aim for those things. You should aim instead to follow the rules. It sounds so simple, and I know it's difficult. So that's why you got to meditate, visualize. That's why you need guidance. That's why you need coaching, because that's what's going to help you get rid of this psychological condition to the outcome. It's important to reset fully from the previous session. So many of you are so attached to the previous session. You're so attached to the win, to that big win, to that payout. Detach from it, okay? Because if you carry that into the next session, then you've already lost. You've already lost because you're now trading your desires. You're trading what you want to see, not what truly is in front of you. It's important to think in terms of quarters and yearly results, because by doing so, you detach yourself from one session, one mistake, one trade, and you think more in larger sample sizes of performance. This way, you're not too attached to any one session or any one trade. And this is great because when FOMO is triggered, you're always reminding yourself that, hold on, there's more opportunities. I don't need to be in this. I need to focus on the process. I've got this entire quarter to go in order to reach profitability, get a payout. I don't need to get a payout today, right now. That's not what trading is about, is it? It's all about focusing on protecting your trading capital and mental capital. So I'm going to change that. Save. So protect trading capital and mental capital. Okay. So I'll just change it to protect trading capital and mental capital. And the reason for this is because if you're not protecting your mental capital, if you're a mental drawdown, you're going to drag your trading capital down because you're going to be seeking that win. You're going to seek that dopamine hit because you're so stressed out. You're so, in some cases, bored. You're so depressed that trading is your hobby That's going to bring some excitement. That's going to bring some sort of freedom to your life. That's going to get you out the job that you hate. That's going to get you out the area, the house that you live. Okay? So it's important to protect your mental capital through your SDERs. And that is your sleep, your diet, your exercise, and your relationships. Focus on those. And I'll add one more, your spirituality. Focus on these 5 elements on a daily basis. Find balance between that every single week, between those 5, because that's what's going to allow your mental capital to be in the surplus. And that's what's going to allow you to protect your trading capital, because you'll be making far better decisions that are not driven by emotion, but driven by an edge, driven by your trading strategy, your system, your rules. And avoid FOMO. And look, you got to be content. Be content with wherever you are in your journey. Be content with wherever you are in your P&L. Be content with whether you're in phase 1, phase 2, you're funded. Just be content. Be grateful, because you are better than where you were when you first started. You have made some improvement. So give it to yourself, okay? You've actually turned up. You're actually working on your dreams. You're working when 99% of people have given up on themselves already. At least you're trying. So give yourself some slack. The set and forget mindset, it actually helps with FOMO. So if you're really struggling with FOMO, just set and forget your orders. Whether it's a limit order, market order, once you're in the trade, set your partials in advance so you don't have to be watching. Because if you're babysitting, if you're watching every tick, you're going to trade like a dick. And let's face it, none of us want to be that. So it's important just to set and forget if FOMO is something that you struggle with. A lot of traders have a discretion in their system. And this can be very problematic because your biases can affect your discretion in the moment. Okay, so depending how you feel, how much rest you've had, that also determines the quality of your decision making in trading. So, discretion can be hard to measure. It's hard to be consistent. So it's important to predefine all of your discretional decisions in advance. So having a flowchart with if and then, if and when type scenarios will help you in determining what discretion is involved. And so predefining that before the moment itself, it removes a lot of the biases in the moment, because you've already predefined the decisions. You just need to select yes or no, just like in your flowchart. This will help you in removing FOMO. Using the Pomodoro Method is one of my favorite things to break up a focus session. And I find that so many traders, when they use the Pomodoro Method, it stops them from FOMOing in, because the more you stare at the charts, the more you feel like you're missing out, the more likely you're going to make a mistake. And so it's important to schedule in breaks in between your sessions. I like to have 25, 30-minute sessions and a 5-minute break. And those 5 minutes is an opportunity for me to switch off from the charts, close my eyes, do some breath work like box breathing, go for a walk, do some yoga stretches, do some burpees, something that's going to take my mind off and just allow me to reset physically, physiologically. And when I come back, I'm more likely to be calmer. I'm more likely to make rational and statistical, strategic decisions rather than emotional, rather than the FOMO of the moment. And it's important to create limits in your trading. Limits on how many trade frequency you have, limits on how much risk you trade, how many contracts you trade. Just have limits in place. Limit the amount of time you spend on the charts. Limit the amount of time you journal, because having these limits in place and being punctual with them, being disciplined with them, is so important to avoid problems like FOMO. So set these limits, put them on your flow chart, have them in front of you on a trading plan, and just stick to it. Just trust that process is going to help you in the long run. So that's FOMO. Now, we went really deep into that. That's part 1 of our free training series of mastering your trading psychology. By recognizing the triggers behind FOMO and applying the solutions that we discussed in today's video, you'll be one step closer to becoming consistent and confident in your trading. And up next in part 2, we'll explore the second biggest pitfall: closing your trades too early. Now, you don't want to miss that. And if this was valuable, make sure that you have subscribed so you can access the entire 4-part series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.